guys, Elisa Massey here, and welcome back to a Dragon Age Origins Codex video. You may notice, if you've been keeping up with the main series, that we are not where we left off. I will explain that in tomorrow's video. But for now, we have a long overdue dive into the Codex. So let's... Oh, geez, there are a lot of quest-related stuff. The Dead Cast. Friends, we have argued long, but I would propose a different direction. It is not unprecedented that one of our numbers should end up in the Legion of the Dead. The memories attest to some bewildering falls from grace. Only his choice to volunteer has propelled this beyond mere scandal. The question we must ask is, does this serve us? The Legion has always seemed a last hope of redemption. If a noble joins their number, by choice no less, this can only do good things for enrollment. And we sacrifice only one foolish member, the last of a troublesome house. His reforms are better shouted at the Darkspawn than in these halls. I say, let him go. This is the writ that was passed, Durius. I hope you can live with your decision, because you're lost to it now. From Assembly Minutes regarding the Legion of the Dead, Addendum Unknown. Dearest Gilly, I know things have been difficult since the censure of our house. I had hoped to bear the cost of my actions alone, but if I had a full understanding of consequences, I wouldn't have murdered above my caste in the first place. I did not abandon you lightly, but I knew of no other way to insulate you against my shame than by joining the Legion. It is a half measure that has earned me no right to seek your comfort, but please, I beg you for one moment of foolish optimism. There is talk of a new soldier, a noble. The things I have heard, I will not curse them by voicing them aloud, but it may be a path to respectability for my kin, for you. If there remains any official line open to our name, can you verify he is real, that House Ferald is still in good stead? A letter from Maius, unsent. May this report find the proper eyes to affect future tactics. We found an enclave of the spawn, possibly a breeding lair, but we could make no approach. There were far more spawn than anticipated, and I divided the squad to draw the main body of the horde away. I do not expect to survive, but I have made certain that most of my men will see another day. I am torn by this, as my petition will go unheard, and that may curse many more of the Legion than would die here. But I simply cannot abandon the men I have looked in the eye and called brother. Perhaps they will not thank me for this, believing themselves already dead, but where there is life there is hope. I will not be the last to see their worth. From a recovered Legion of the Dead field report by Lord Durius Ferald. Casualty. Durius Ferald, Lieutenant. Found dead with his squad. The corpse was left untouched, suggesting the Darkspawns feared his spirit even in death. His ferocity defending his men was corroborated by survivors before they succumbed to corruption. It is rare for a soldier's actual death to exceed the honors given at his enlistment, but Ferald was an odd one, an agitator. His eccentric promises were disruptive, and I fear his death may demoralize more of the Legion than actually heard his fantasies firsthand. He was committed to the stone with his insignia, as honorable a burial as we can manage with the spawn at our heels, but officially he has formed a second front. Better his foolish hopes are diluted by time than killed outright. From a bi-weekly casualty report by Sergeant Unger. Crosscut Drifters. Okay, the quest ones are kinda long. Friends of Red Jenny, I think, is gonna come up later. We'll do this one, and then we'll go back up. The Crosscut Drifters. Fools and renegades, the lot of them. We accept that there is a time for ordered and educated treasure hunting, but not when a foundation remains to be cut. What fortunes have they made? What houses have they elevated? The minor veins they have traced have satisfied neither this assembly nor their own gambler's thirst. Their actions can only grow more erratic and undisciplined, and while no incidents have been reported, they will eventually undermine the stability of a major passage. It is the opinion of this assembly that prospecting be restricted until we can be certain of the stability of the deep roads. These cross-cut drifters can find their fortune in a trade. Let animals burrow wherever their noses point them. Dwarves are meant to excavate by careful degrees. From an assembly memorandum. Rogan cut a beautiful line down a minor vein today, twisting his supports along the footwall like a backbone. He's got a gift for lagging. It's almost crystalline. I swear I could tap it and hear the stone sing. Non-standard by any inspector's measure. But that's the sodding point, isn't it? We're letting the stone take us where she wants, not gouging out highways so the palace can have another pantry. I suspect they will revoke our privileges at the next assembly sitting. I say good luck to them. They'll never find us to deliver the writ. They are afraid of the road we travel. We're close to a major strike. The stone, she's pulling us to something, and to the vents if I'll let the dwarves who deny their sins get in the way of it. From the Journal of Brunar, founding fellow crosscut drifters. We can no longer tolerate your flagrant disregard of this assembly and published excavation doctrine. The actions of your team have potentially compromised 2 future projects, resulting in an expensive redesign of the deep roads. Fortunately, development of the largest shaft will continue, or you would have faced additional fines. Claims that the stone is directing your actions suggests that not only are you ignorant of pre-planning procedure, you and your group may also be in the early stages of lyrium poisoning. You are in breach of Orzammar mining code, and hereby forfeit all claims made during your unapproved activities. The Assembly expects your response within 30 days, or your house, as well as those of your team, will face additional censure. Notice of Assembly censure. Here's your response. Take a long breath from a short shaft. B. Addendum by Brunar, founding fellow crosscut drifters. We found trouble, all right. Rogan's lyrium vein led right to the flank of a darkspawn horde. From the look of their kit, the spawn were a week, maybe less, from breakthrough into that blasted new highway under Orzammar, and they'd be well behind any patrols. The stone knew. She knew, and she drew her chosen with a promise of ore we could taste in our bones. If all goes well, losing this cavern will kill the darkspawn's taste for digging, and Orzammar will never know it was at risk. Will be a distant tremor, a ripple in the royal fountain. The charges are laid. We know it will work, and we know the cost. The stone has shown us the way home. From the Journal of Brunar, founding fellow, crosscut drifters. Okay, I do want to break something maybe not quite so long. Have we had nothing about archdemons, or has this added more? I'm not gonna read this part, but yeah, I will. In darkness eternal they searched for those who had goaded them on, until at last they found their prize, their god, their betrayer. No, I did read that. No one knows what it is that drives the darkspawn into their relentless search for the sleeping old gods. Perhaps it is instincts, as moths will fly into torch flames. Perhaps there is some remnant of desire for vengeance upon the ones who goaded their magisters to assault heaven. Whatever the reason, when darkspawn find one of these ancient dragons, it is immediately afflicted by the taint. It awakens twisted and corrupted, and leads the darkspawn in a full-scale invasion of the land, a blight. Urthemiel was once the Tevinter god of beauty. In ancient times, he was worshipped by musicians, artists, and poets. The feasts of Urthemiel was the grandest celebration of the year, an event that lasted a full 12 days. Plays and entire symphonies were written in his honor. Now he is a maddened husk of his former self, filled with nothing but a desire to destroy all life. Is that the archdemon that we are facing now? Bronto. There's only 2 things a noble will step aside for: paragons and angry Brontos. Dwarven saying. This hulking beast was originally bred by the dwarven shepherd as a beast of burden and food source, the rough equivalent to surface oxen and cows. Some versions of Bronto have even been developed as dwarven mounts, valued far more for their sure-footedness and stamina than for their speed. While present within Orzammar in large numbers, some Bronto still exist in packs within the deep roads, having returned to a wild state after the fall of the dwarven kingdoms. They require remarkably little sustenance, consuming organic material from water, fungus, and even rocks, hence the rock liquor appellation used by many dwarves to describe Bronto, and exist in primarily dormant states until provoked. An angry charging Bronto is considered to be a rather dangerous opponent. Golem. Once a crucial part of Orzammar's defenses, golems have all but vanished, as the secret to their manufacture was lost over 1,000 years ago. What few golems remain are guarded closely by the Shaperate, brought out when the battle with the Darkspawn grows desperate enough to risk their loss. No one now would sell a golem for any price, but in ancient times, dwarves sold many golems to the Magister Lords of Tevinter. They are devastating weapons in war, living siege engines, capable of hurling boulders like a catapult or plowing through the enemy lines like an earthquake. Shrieks. Scholars call these tall, lean darkspawn the Sharlock, though they are more popularly known as shrieks, because of the ear-splitting cries they emit in battle. Many tales exist of soldiers being unnerved by the sounds of approaching shrieks, cloaked in darkness and never seen until the moment they strike. As horrors of the night, shrieks are renowned for their incredible speed and agility as well as their stealth. They are the assassins of the Darkspawn, penetrating the enemy lines and striking their targets using long, jagged blades attached to their forearms to rip their opponents to shreds in seconds. They have been known to employ poison, often drawn from their own blood, and have demonstrated cunning group tactics when attacking in numbers. Very quick water break. Okay. Now I have giant spider. Hold on. Is a giant spider different than a regular spider? No. Corrupted spiders is going to be the new one, I'm sure. So, we have to have... We had the first paragraph a long time ago because there were giant spiders in the ruins in our origin, but corrupted spiders are new, so... Corrupted spiders are giant arachnids that originally grew in the depths of the deep roads, feeding on numerous species of large bats. When the deep roads were lost to the Darkspawn, they began to feed on the numerous gemlocks. Gemlocks? I can't remember how to pronounce that. Hard or soft G? And their numbers grew exponentially, as did their size. The Darkspawn taint has become a permanent part of their system, passed on to their progeny. This has the effect of increasing their size abnormally, as well as their aggressiveness. Some corrupted spiders have made their lairs in surface forests, but most remain underground, close to their blight-tainted meals. Okay, and that's it for creatures. That's almost filled out. Culture and history. I got some dwarvy stuff. Stellata Nagat. I'm guessing that's how that's pronounced. Anyway. 913 Dragon. The blight is building, though it is years from being named by the surface. But the memories know the signs. The Legion has lost Bonamar, though in truth it was lost to the living long ago. The spawn are moving freely and have numbers even the memories haven't seen. They will surge, release. We will fortify and follow. That is the way, and will always be so, until we fall and the surface wonders what has changed. From Chapter 49 of Stellata Nagat, The Stone Unheld, a commentary of the Roll of Years by Shaper Erden. 7-0 Storm. The wars continue in the depths and the border tigers are lost. Orzammar fortifies and holds, but the lost ground is not regained and remains dead space, where darkspawn multiply. It was a surge, but the surface was not breached. There was no great archdemon behind them. No blight was declared, no rallying cry was given. The wardens slumbered. After centuries of constant skirmishes, a trend becomes clear. The first line of defense, unacknowledged for centuries, weakens. From Chapter 40 of Stellata Nagat. I'm not going to read the rest of that, because it's just going to be the same thing. I'm just going to read the chapter of it. 512 Exalted. The surface declares the fourth blight, a number that means nothing to the stone. In the depths, the events are inverted, our blight spanning the interim years. 7 generations of shifting lines and darkness. Our ancestors are the reason the surface kingdoms don't know a darkspawn by sight, why even their eldest have never heard an accounting firsthand. They believe the blights are defeated by a gathering of allies with singular focus. Eventually, they will be lost by attrition in the depths. The spawn surges and releases. We fortify and follow, although doubts are raised. From chapter 27 of Still Out of Nagat. These are not in order. 310 towers. They name it a blight. The third by their reckoning. It was just the fight to our ancestors, continued even though it shifts settings. The hordes that press their border surge and release, spilling across the surface. They fortify and follow. It was not their way to let the enemy rest. 325 towers. The surface kingdoms declare victory. The horde is crushed, the push halted, and celebrations begin as humans thank the skies and their maker. Just one. Not multiple maker. Multiple creators. One maker. Beneath their gaze and their feet, the Darkspawn retreat to the steppes of our Tigers. New front lines are drawn across old. They settle in to breed, the memories say, as happened twice before and likely in the darkness before that. From chapters 14 and 17 of Still Out of Nagat. Okay. Orzammar History, Chapter 1. I'm trying to read slow, so I don't know why it's still taking a lot out of me, apparently, but, the memories tell us that our kingdom once reached far beneath the mountains, and that the Tigers were almost beyond counting. Kal Sharok was the capital then, home to all the noble houses, and Orzammar was simply the home of the miner and smith castes. It was with the Tevinter Imperium that things changed. Paragon Garal moved the seat of power to Orzammar to more closely oversee the trade that began with the surface. It seemed that our people were entering a new age of prosperity. The memories hold no explanations for the coming of the Darkspawn, only questions. At first they were rumors, noises in the deep roads, a lost traveler here and there. The warrior caste sent men to patrol the road and thought the matter settled. We did not know that while we searched for them, they were engaged in a search of their own. Sleeping deep in the stone itself was the archdemon. They found him and awakened him, and the blight began. The Darkspawn poured out of the deep roads like smoke then, and the warrior caste struggled to hold them back. Countless Tigers were lost in that first blight. But, as ever, in the worst moments of our need, a paragon arose. Paragon Idakan led the defenses of Orzammar, and the Dark Horde was beaten back. The cost of victory, however, was great. Much of the deep roads were sealed to hold back the Darkspawn, cutting off Tigers and even whole cities forever. I'm gonna jump around a little bit, I think, in these ones where I know there's too much stuff for me to cover. So I'm gonna go Oghren. Oghren of House Kondrat was once a promising member of the warrior caste. His house was not especially high-ranked, but many of its members, Oghren included, had won notable victories in the provings and were considered to be rising in prestige. When a smith caste family with plenty of money but no political connections offered their daughter in marriage, his family accepted the match, and then everything changed. His wife, Branka, was named a paragon for her achievements. All of House Kondrat joined her newly made noble house Branka, and vanished with her into the deep roads. As time passed and it became more and more clear that Oghren had been abandoned, he became the butt of jokes throughout Orzammar. He took to drink, which didn't especially help. Drunk and humiliated, he challenged another warrior to a proving over an insult and killed him. The match was meant to be fought to first blood. As a punishment, he was stripped of his house and barred from bearing arms, the only fate worse for a warrior than exile. Didn't know that! What do we have for notes? I don't want to... I know those, I just wanted to get through. We will get to... No. Caridin's journal. 940, 45th day, 5th year of the reign of King Valtor. I have done it. The vision the ancestors gave me has come to fruition. Today a man sat up from my forge, a man of living stone and steel. I called him Golem, for the legend of those great statues animated by the dead. They are our future and our salvation. 940, 60th day, 5th year of the reign of King Valtor. It is a horrific process. Not every man could do such a thing and survive with his mind intact. I am honored that the ancestors believe I have the strength to bear this burden and forge Orzamar's defenders. Nothing so great may be achieved without sacrifice, nor may stone and steel walk without a spirit to animate them. 940, 73rd day, 5th year of the reign of King Valtor. I have asked for volunteers. Some few answered, men of the warrior caste, younger sons with no property, no chance for marriage. They want to defend Orzammar from the horrors these humans have unleashed. They want to live forever in a body stronger than the finest armor. They do not ask to speak with those who have gone before. I have put off saying this, even in these pages, but I must say it now. My golems will be powered by their deaths. These brave warriors come to me, naked as they were born. I dress them in a skin of armor so large it makes the burliest look no more than a babe. The anvil their first and final cradle. We are surrounded by a mile of earth on all sides. No one hears the screams as I pour molten lyrium through the eye holes, the mouth, every joint and chink in the armor. They silence quickly, but the smell lingers, just a trace of blood and the greater stench of hot metal. I must work fast. The armor is malleable now, as I shape it with a hammer and tongs. It is not long before it moves beneath my hands, writhing and twisting with every blow. It speaks again now, a low moan, but I have learned to tune it out. I can afford no error in this craft. There can be no melted slag blinding the eyes, nor an unhewn bit of granite shackling the leg. They groan at my work, but would they rather be broken, crippled? Those I have spoken to tell me of the pain, but could they see themselves, they would see perfection. From the Journal of Caridin. Well, that's dark. That's really dark. Letter from Ben, Matthew, and Wolf. Sophia. Arl Ruan and his entire family have been slaughtered, even the children. The Ruan line is no more, and the Arling belongs to the crown for now. Arlan believed Ruan was plotting against him. Ruan criticized the king's spending on Wintersend. That is all. It was an idle word spoken out of turn. The king goes too far. His brain is filled with madness, and he clings to the crown like a drowning man clutches at a straw. Sophia, I beg you, help us. If nothing is done, more will suffer. Your humble servant, Wolf. Or Wolf. I'm not sure. God, so this was from a while ago, because this we would have had to have picked up in Soldier's Peak. Furnace's notes. The taint allows us to sense the darkspawn. The longer we survive with the taint in our blood, the more potent it becomes. Unfortunately, this corruption will eventually overwhelm the warden. Over time, it devours both mind and body, leaving nothing. But what if the spread of the corruption could be stopped or contained in some way? What if the warden could become more powerful without having that power kill him? How great would that power be? Would it be enough to stop the demons? The joining ritual is crude. We take into ourselves the blood of the darkspawn in the most obvious way. Most die from the corruption immediately. It is, after all, poison. There must be some way to refine the joining. Isolate the true power that is found in darkspawn blood, and leave behind the evil that kills us. I can feel the corruption starting to take its toll on my body. I must not succumb. There's too much work to be done. Through my magic, I've been able to slow its inevitable spread, but not stop it completely. I'm starting to hear things, even while awake. A voice, more beautiful than any other, calls to me from the depths. In my dreams, I see the Black City, and I am drawn towards it. There is something there, an answer to what this taint is, this taint that we share with the Darkspawn. From the notes of Avernus. And we got time for a couple. A plea from Commander Athlar. Soldier's Peak is more than we bargained for. There is sinister magic at work here. The men are seeing things and cannot tell nightmares from reality. The fallen return to life and to attack again and again, and we are assaulted by dark creatures the likes of which I have never seen. Whoever is responsible is intent on destroying us all, the King's army and the Grey Wardens both. Send help. We cannot last much longer. Commander Athlar. Load limit reached. What is that? Mass will have an effect, he says, as long as it lifts us out, I figure. Should have specified within my lifetime. Gives us time to talk, he says. How's a dwarf get named Shepherd? Up your shaft. No, really, because blah blah blah. Axe answers, but I still hear him. Drip, ground. Drip, ground. Worse than his talking. Think I'll drop out for some air. Excerpt, Dwarven verse in 1 volume. Selection load limit reached. Anonymous scratching recovered from a cage hoist eventually. Black vials. And this will be it, I think. Binding the third corpse walker. This realm denies you abomination for taking our dearest. We are united against your kind and bind you by your true name. Ugruth Masad, revenant and perversion of a treasured mother. No more shall fall, no more shall need to stand. Andraste hold you, demon, and bind your rage for eternity. 6 thumbprints in blood mark the end of the text. Binding the fourth corpse walker. You deny our dead their rest, and so you also will be hounded. Let the strength of our union buy you by your true name. Quimetha Kagat, revenant and perversion of an honored father. Though no spirit cage will undo what was suffered, Andraste hold you, demon, and bind your rage for eternity. 6 thumbprints in blood mark the end of the text. Binding the fifth corpse walker. We condemn both... That was 6. Okay. We condemn both spirit and host for inviting the walker. With solemn hearts we bind you by your true name. Shamas Goodson, revenant and perversion of a rare friendship. Regret holds more pain than burying the dead. Andraste forgive you, brother, and bind your weakness for eternity. 5 thumbprints in blood mark the end of the text. Technically we might have time for 1 or 2 more entries, but I don't think I have the lung capacity for it. So we're going to cut it here, probably have the next Codex video either next week or the week after, depending on what we pick up. But for now, if you liked what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Maybe tap that notification bell to get notified every time I upload. See you on the flip side. Elisa out.